Who am I? My name is Andrew Harper, and some people know me these days as the Genetic Wealth Code Guy. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an academic. I'm not some manifestation guru. In fact, I'm the last guy you would expect to be sharing this kind of life-changing secret. A secret genetic code that's been in our DNA for millennia. And is cited in ancient books from Egypt. That's even been researched by the Pentagon. Yet suppressed by mainstream media. Blocked from social media. Yet, here I am. I've helped over 37,000 of my followers activate their genetic wealth code. And go rapidly from scrimping and saving and chronic money worries to attracting bulging bank accounts, exotic vacations, effortlessly, like steel to a magnet. This ancient genetic code, when activated, has turned many lives around, transforming poverty into riches. This genetic wealth code turned me from a low-paid, wage slave airport baggage handler, struggling to put food on the table for his family, into a multimillionaire. Steve, a warehouse manager, attracted a medium-sized lottery win that helped him quit his job. Or why Stacy, supermarket checkout supervisor, received a check from a relative she never heard of before. This ancient genetic code, when activated, has turned many lives around, transforming poverty into riches. This genetic wealth code turned me from a low-paid, wage slave airport baggage handler, struggling to put food on the table for his family, into a multimillionaire. It came to me at a time when luck or fate decided to offer me a helping hand out of my emotional and financial pain and suffering. But wait just 1 second. I'll bet you've got pretty skeptical about promises like this over the years. I don't blame you. Some skepticism can be good. There are a lot of people promising to make you rich from their wealth creation products online. Before I became wealthy beyond my wildest dreams, I fell for many of their empty promises. Let me tell you now. If what those guys share with you about manifestation can be found on a YouTube video or on Facebook, it's not a secret. The genetic wealth code cannot be accessed anywhere but on this page. I'm going to show you ironclad scientific proof today that this code works. And how you can start using this code to see money flooding into your bank account as soon as today. Look. If you want to attract wealth consistently and predictably in the next week, month, year, you are in the right place. The potential within all of us to become wealthy beyond our wildest dreams is held within the genetic wealth code you're about to activate today. Not something you have to go on a magical mystery tour to discover, or spend money to get it for yourself. It's already inside you. And let me assure you, it has nothing to do with the law of attraction, or affirmations, or changing your brain waves. You won't hear any manifesting guru talking about it anywhere. You won't hear about it on TV. If you're still here, I now know one thing about you. You are serious about attracting all the money the universe is just dying to give you. And here's what I'd like you to know. It doesn't matter how many wealth attraction programs you bought before. How many times have you failed to manifest what you were dreaming of? What your level of education is. Because once you activate this genetic wealth code, you will immediately receive master-level control of the amount of money you can see flow into your life. I know it sounds too easy, but I'll prove it works beyond all doubt in just a few short minutes. You will start clearing any soul-crushing debt in your life. You will, for a change, consciously decide what you want to show up in your life. Your decisions will transform from, do I pay the gas or food bill? To where do I holiday? Mauritius or Fuji? Honestly, I can't wait for you to experience what it's like to summon the universe to deliver whatever you desire. So you might be thinking, who the hell am I to make such a huge promise? Before I continue, I hope you won't mind if I tell you why I care so deeply about helping you manifest the life of your dreams. As I said, my name is Andrew. I'm a 47-year-old father of two. I live in Boise, Idaho, with my beautiful wife, Carrie, and two gorgeous little girls, Kate and Sarah. And in the last year alone, I've helped over 5,000 regular people manifest a life they could only dream of before, without them having to lift a finger. They just activated their genetic wealth code. We have all the trappings of living the American dream today. The boat, the luxury cars, the holiday homes, 6 vacations a year. Enough money in the bank not to have to work again. But it was not always the case. A little over 4 years ago, I was humping heavy baggage onto conveyor belts every day at Boise Airport, barely able to support my family, which filled me with a deep shame inside. I never talked about it to anyone. I mean, who wants to listen to a grown man tell you how he feels he's failed as a father and a provider? I worried about unpaid, mounting bills constantly. Maybe you can relate. A series of bad financial decisions had led me down a dead end of worry and despair about how to make ends meet. We lived paycheck to paycheck, with nothing to spare. I was having multiple panic attacks when I was down to my last $100 in my bank account, until my salary would hit the bank account just in time to save my bacon and keep a roof over my family's head. It was on a fearful merry-go-round of nerve-wracking lack of cash and just-in-time paychecks. Always surviving, never thriving there, and then I decided, no matter what, I knew I had to make more money. But how? I had tried everything over the years, from online get-rich-quick schemes and network marketing, only to find out they were a scam, to the law of attraction where gurus promised I could attract money by changing my brain waves, and then nothing. So I did the first thing that came to mind. What society had programmed me to do. I put in for even more overtime at the airport. After a late shift of hurling baggage around that next night, I was shattered. So I dropped into the airport bar. Me and the guys on the baggage handling crew would meet up now and again there. None of the guys were around this night, so I ordered a beer for myself. Then another one. I thought to myself, maybe if I drank a beer or two, I could forget what was going on at home for a while. Now this airport bar was full of all types of characters. I guess it's the same with every airport bar in the world. All types of people traveling from one place or another. All kinds of nationalities and backgrounds. Everyone goes through the same airport. I talked to many characters here over the years. I heard some wild stories. There was one guy though that was capturing my attention this night, about 8 bar stools down. He seemed agitated, angry even. Maybe you know that sense we have when you can just pick up on what someone is feeling. So there he was. Well dressed in a gray slate suit. Mid-30s. Throwing back shot after shot of Jack. I don't know what possessed me at the time. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was curiosity. But something was drawing me to this guy to find out what was going on with him. I pulled my stool up a little closer. Hey buddy, everything all right? He looked startled. Relax, I said. Just saying hello. Just seeing if you're okay. Why would you want to know that? Which government agency do you work for? The stranger barked back at me. Strange question, I thought to myself. Forget it, I said. Anything, sorry to bother you. I replied. I work right here at the airport. Just saying. I'm one of those guys that gets your baggage on your plane. Or even loses it sometimes. That's when I saw a smile crack on his face. We both shared a small chuckle. Look, I'm sorry, he said. I'm just a little agitated right now. Didn't mean to be rude. My name is Lance. And after a few minutes we were getting on pretty good. We just kind of felt comfortable with other, I guess. Maybe because we were both going through some tough times. I felt so comfortable, in fact, that 3 drinks later, on top of the beers I had already I ended up spilling my guts to my new friend about my problems. And just then there was a lull in conversation. My new friend became silent for a second. "Everything okay?" I said. He stared at me for what seemed like a minute or two. Then he looked away. Like he was deciding whether or not to tell me something. And then he just came out with, "To hell with it," Lance muttered under his breath. "Look man, I've just been fired from one of those big Chinese tech companies. That's why I'm so agitated. I've never been fired from anywhere before. This sounds crazy, right? But I've come across something. An explosive secret that could topple the balance of power back to the common man. Back to someone like you. The good guy. The hard-working family guy who always gets shafted by the elites." Lance, the stranger I had come to know that night, started filling me in on his life so far. As it turned out, he was a computer data scientist who graduated from MIT first in his class. There was actually a small bidding war from some of the big tech companies for his services after his graduation. After weighing up his options, he ended up working for one of the big Chinese tech firms here in the USA. One of the largest social media companies in the world. And now, here he was, unemployed. In an airport bar. And thinking of leaving the country. Lance had been working in the data management section of this Chinese tech company when he got an email one night that he was accidentally included in. This one email he was not supposed to see. It was sent to him by mistake. It was serious. Deadly serious. It changed everything for him. It became clear from this email that part of his company's agenda, this Chinese tech employer, was to hack into some government bodies here in the USA. And steal what information they could. And recently, they had come across a Pentagon classified document. This document was connected to UFO encounters by the US Air Force. You've probably heard more and more about encounters with UFOs recently in the news. You might have seen a recent Newsweek article where the Pentagon is actually setting up a new office in 2023 to investigate more UFO sightings. As more and more UFOs were being reported every day. The article actually says, while we can explain more than half of UFO events, a sizable chunk remains a mystery. In fact, just recently, the Director of National Intelligence said they're focusing on some 171 UFO cases which require further analysis. What does all this mean? UFOs and aliens are no longer considered as crazy as before in the media, or dismissed as easily by government authorities. Even Barack Obama said UFO sightings are real in a recent interview. Lance's company had access to these plans from the Pentagon to set up more UFO investigation departments, years before they were made public recently in 2023. And that was alarming enough. But reading further into the email he received by accident that night piqued his interest even more. According to this email, the Pentagon document cited some old research into UFO and alien technology from many years ago, and warned against the findings from this research getting out into the public domain. According to Lance, it turns out, this classified email revealed that the Pentagon has been studying alien technology for years. Many years. Going back as far as the 1950s. And the technology they found, especially when it comes to manifestation, is proving now in their labs with science what ancient traditions have known for thousands of years. That there is a hidden genetic code within all of us. That when activated manifests wealth, love, and happiness with practically no conscious effort on our part. Lance explained. As far back as 1954, a genetic scientist called George King claimed to have encountered extraterrestrial intelligence. He actually wrote a book about his experience called Cosmic Manifestation. It's a real book. You can look it up. From his encounters with alien technology and studying what they have found out about us humans, George had learned that people on Earth each have a little-known genetic wealth code that when activated could lead to unlimited happiness, peace, and yes, Unlimited financial abundance. Lance explained. A genetic wealth code is just a series of genes. We have many such genetic codes in our bodies. Some of these genetic codes are responsible for eye color, or height, or even intelligence. Everything we are boils down to a genetic code of some kind somewhere in our DNA. George never figured out how to activate the genetic wealth code. This was way before anyone had even heard of the law of attraction or the secret or anything like that. It sounded crazy at the time. The government had dismissed his experience and research back then, as they did so many others. Even paid off the media to ridicule him and make him seem crazy. But secretly, for many years, behind closed doors, genetic scientists at the Pentagon were researching what George had found. A series of genes that, when switched on, lead to wealth and abundance flowing into our lives. It's like switching on a tractor beam to draw money automatically into your life. It sounds crazy, but so did the idea of aliens and UFOs not so long ago, Lance explained. The research on this series of genes or genetic wealth code had been going on for many years, and their findings were shocking. The Pentagon had conducted tons of genetic research, all behind closed doors, and had discovered there is in fact a genetic wealth code that, when activated, allows people to have a life where money just flows to them effortlessly. This genetic wealth code is naturally activated in only a tiny amount of people, according to the Pentagon. It's one of the main reasons why the 1% controls 97% of the wealth in the USA. It's the main reason why most people do not have the money they want. It's the reason most people cannot seem to attract wealth, no matter what business they try or what manifestation technique they use. Their genetic wealth code is simply not activated. The Pentagon researchers had been studying the 8% of genes in our bodies where scientists are not sure what function they have, to find and analyze this genetic wealth code. The genetic wealth code was inside this group of so-called mystery genes. They discovered, when this genetic wealth code is activated, you see the world through a different lens, so to speak. Imagine for a second the number of people in the world who have won the lottery. You don't necessarily win the lotto when this genetic wealth code is activated. Although I personally know of many people I helped who have had a sizable lottery and scratch card wins when their genetic wealth code was activated. You do, however, attract money and wealth to you as effortlessly as one of these lotto winners. You just see and experience money opportunities other people don't. Remember that kid in the movie, The Sixth Sense, who could see dead people while others could not? Like that. Except you see and experience money and wealth other people are blind to. And the story gets even more fascinating. To see the entire video, head to the link in bio, as I'm infinite % sure it's gonna change your life for the